In the game of the round, Buducnost defeated Partizan in Morača, while Crvena zvezda needed a second-half comeback against Mornar to remain undefeated. The battle to avoid relegation is picking up, with Krka grabbing the win in Zadar and Karpos pulling off an upset against Olimpija. Meet one of the key cogs in Crvena zvezda's big red and white machine, former center for the Serbian national team Ognjen Kuzmic. Stick around as we have a new list of top 5 plays of the round waiting for you at the end of our show. Welcome to ABBA magazine. Neven Plantak has left the head coaching position at Zadar. The club thanked the Croatian expert who replaced Ante Matulovic a few months ago for the energy he invested in the team, but as the desired results didn't follow, the contract was terminated by mutual consent. Zadar's management will name the new head coach in the next couple of days, with the same difficult task ahead of him. The game of the round took place in Podgorica, where Buducnost defeated Partizan 74-68 and made the fight for the second place even more interesting. The team from Belgrade couldn't face the champions of Montenegro in full force. Marinkovic has been out for a while now with injury, while Stefan Birčević was suspended due to a post-game confrontation with FNP's coach in the previous round. Coach Zuro's team had led throughout the game, but the outcome of the game was mostly determined by the way it began. Partizan struggled on offense and several turnovers allowed the home team to score 11 unanswered points. It didn't take long for Buducnost to go up 14-2. Both teams struggled from beyond the 3-point range, but Marcus Williams found ways to set his teammates up for easy points. He finished the game with 9 assists, and most of them went to Owen Klassen. Klassen teamed up with Reynolds to provide points to keep Buducnost in the lead. Partizan was in a desperate need of some new energy, and the captain Novica Veličković rose to the occasion. Close to the end of the second quarter, Andrić and Veličković managed to reduce the deficit to as little as 2 points. However, Nemanja Vranjes stopped their surge, scoring 8 points in as little as 3 minutes on the court for a 40-31 Buducnost lead at the halftime. The script stayed the same in the second half. Partizan posed a constant threat, but mistakes kept them from mounting a comeback. At the same time, the boys from Podgorica were making all the big shots at the right time, whenever their lead was reduced to 4 or 5 points. Partizan's dreadful foul selection didn't help either, as they allowed their opponent to shoot 37 free throws and score 26 points from the charity line in a low-scoring game. Despite all of the above, Partizan came as close as 58-55 at the beginning of the final quarter, but the hope was short-lived, as J.R. Reynolds soon re-established a double-digit lead. For the second time this season, Buducnost defeated their rival in the playoff race, with 19 points from Reynolds and an excellent performance from Klassen, who added 16 points and 10 rebounds. 15 points and 8 rebounds from Veličković were not enough for Partizan. Mihailo Andrić made half of the team's 4 3-pointers on the way to 14 points. Uroš Luković added the same number of buckets along with 10 rebounds. We should also note the fact that Jamont Gordon played his first minutes after a long and tedious recovery from a serious injury. Crvena zvezda tied its previous record for the number of consecutive wins in ABBA League. The defending champions needed a second-half comeback for their 20th win in as many rounds. The home crowd was ecstatic when they defeated Mornar 82-71. The demanding rhythm playing in 2 major competitions is beginning to take its toll on coach Dejan Radonjić's team. 3 members of the starting lineup were sidelined: Nemanja Dangubić, Stefan Jović and Ognjen Kuzmic, who suited up but didn't play. The lead Mornar held against Zvezda was the longest anyone had against the defending champions this season. The game was slow in pace after the tip-off, and the home team took a 6-2 lead. But Mornar upped the ante with aggressive defense, forcing 8 turnovers in the first quarter. MVP of the previous round, Ty Waller, came out guns blazing, making shots from all ranges to spark a 16-1 scoring run. Coach Đorđe Pavićević set up a zone defense that forced Crvena Zvezda to take shots from the distance, and it paid off as his team raced to a double-digit lead. Newcomers to the league allowed the EuroLeague participant only 9 points in first 10 minutes of the game. Their lead stretched to 15 points several times in the second quarter, but the Red and Whites managed to cut the deficit in half by the end of the first half. Mostly from the free throw line and with the help of Deon Thompson, who was one of the few players that could score in the paint. The home team realized it would take a lot more energy on defense in the second half to turn this game around, and Branko Lazić stepped up as always. However, Mornar found ways to keep the lead at 52-38, but missed a couple of opportunities to stretch it even further. Serbian champions took advantage, forced turnovers, were turned into a barrage of threes, 4 in a row. Marko Gudurić started a 19-3 run to complete the comeback. Mornar took the lead for the last time with the first possession in the fourth period, only to watch coach Dan Radonjić's team go off on another scoring run. 10 unanswered points were enough for the home team to wrap this game up. Marko Simonović was the leading scorer with 15 points, but since he only made 2 out of 10 shots he took, the credits for the win go to Branko Lazić and Charles Jenkins. They scored 12 points apiece. Lazić made 3 three-pointers, while Jenkins dished out 7 assists. Thompson provided help on offense with 11 points. Once again, Ty Waller was the leading scorer for Mornar with 15 points, while Pavić and Tatum scored 10 each. Ognjen Kuzmic is without a doubt having a career-best season with Crvena Zvezda. Both the player and the team have shined in all competitions. The long road to stardom for the 7-footer started in his hometown of Doboj. It all started in Doboj in 2006. After that, I went to Borac and then spent 2 years in Finland. Next, I went to Čelik for a year, to Spain for 2 years, then 2 more in United States, and a season in Greece. Kuzmic spent 2 seasons in North America where he played for Golden State. However, most of his time there was spent in the NBDL. It was good, very different than here in Europe. For me, it was something new. I spent 2 years there, mostly playing in the D-League. There's not much more to say. During his short time with the Warriors, he had an opportunity to play with one of the best players in the world, Steph Curry. For me, the biggest surprise was that he's a wonderful person, on the court and off. You would expect him to act a star, but he's a decent guy who helps everyone. I loved him. Kuzmic has shown evident progress and he now holds an important place in Dan Radonjić's game plan. I think that this is the best season of my career, but the credit goes to the team. We have a team-first mentality, and my teammates help me out a lot. I just hope we will carry on in the same fashion, and that we will all stay healthy. This is his first ABA League season. Let's hear his thoughts about the competition. This is a tough league, with a lot of great individuals and a number of good teams. When it comes to quality, it's one of the finest competitions in Europe. Kuzmic compared Crvena Zvezda as an organization to his previous landing spots. Considering the circumstances and the environment we live in, I think that the conditions and the organization are on the highest level. I'm happy. All of us are happy with how the club's treating us. Last summer he signed a contract that will keep him with Crvena Zvezda for the next 3 years. I don't think about that anymore. I'm here. It's been great. I can't complain. Why change something if it's excellent? MZT grabbed an important win in Skopje in a matchup of teams battling to avoid relegation. Overcoming a challenge from Mega Leks 75-74, MZT left Zadar in sole possession of the last place after 20 rounds. Team from Skopje held the lead for the better part of the game, but visitors from Sremska Mitrovica missed a game winner, even after falling 14 points behind. Shalom Kloff sparked the home crowd with two monster dunks as Coach Nazor's teams struggled from the distance but kept a high percentage for two in the first quarter. On the other end, Coach Dejan Milojevic's team that missed several key pieces couldn't establish an inside presence and relied on three-pointers. Mega lacked points from its best players Zagorac and Jaramaz, while Kloff and Josh Scott made sure that MZT held a double-digit lead at the end of the first half. In the first minute of the fourth quarter, a three from Simonovski gave MZT a 14-point lead, and a 15-point win margin from the first matchup was in jeopardy for Mega. But the visitors would have none of that, as they held the Macedonian champions to just one field goal for the rest of the game. Missed shots and turnovers mounted after the last year's league runner-ups increased the aggressiveness on defense. A 17-2 run turned into a 1-point lead for Mega Leks with a three from Chanchar. Free throws would decide the winner. Kloff made 1 out of 2 to tie the game at 74. Rebic missed a shot to take the lead, and coach Dejan Milojevic promptly called for a foul as he wanted Mega with the last possession. Thames also made only one free throw, and Mega had a shot at the win. But unfortunately for them, neither Novak nor Chanchar could sink the game winner. Shalom Kloff led the winning side with 15 points, 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Josh Scott had a double-double, 17 points and 12 rebounds, scoring in double digits with at least 7 rebounds for the 6th game in a row. Spasojevic led the scoring list for Mega Leks with 14 points, Zagorac stopped at 13, Kaba at 12, while Chanchar and Novak added 10 apiece. FNP is picking up steam and marching up the ladder, with the latest win coming at home against Cibona 84-75. Coach Branko Maksimovic's young team is handling the pressure of a race to avoid relegation well, dealing Cibona its 3rd consecutive defeat, one that sent the team from Zagreb a step further from the 4th place in the standings and a spot in the playoffs. Cibona came to Železnika center short as coach Damir Mulamerovic couldn't count on the injured Emir Sulejmanovic. The teams traded blows in a high-scoring first quarter, but Cibona found its edge when Marinelli replaced Reynolds at point. A 2-point lead at the end of the first turned into 10 in the second for the visiting team as FNP kept turning the ball over. But Marinelli picked up his 3rd personal foul early, and Cibona's game went south with him riding the pine. FNP's point guard Filip Čović turned the game around and gave his team a 45-41 lead at the halftime. Key moment happened in the 5th minute of the 3rd period when Damir Mulamerovic reacted on referee's decision not to call goaltending on Austin on what appeared to be a late block on a shot from Šakić. Cibona's coach was ejected from the game and had to watch from the locker room as Filip Čović scored 9 points in a row to give FNP a game-high 17-point lead. One of the youngest teams in the region kept the opponent at bay and grabbed its 4th win in the last 6 games. Čović was the game's MVP with 30 points and 7 assists, while Bolden added 12 in the win. Žorić put up quite an effort for the losing side with 14 points and 9 rebounds. Cedevita managed to recover from a shocking upset by Krka in the previous round and took care of business at home against Igokea 89-78. Coach Veljko Mršić could count on his full roster but decided to rest Begić and Babić. Albijanić and Robinson's return to the lineup sparked Igokea, and the visitors made several three-pointers to race to a 6-point lead in the 5th minute of the game. Cedevita was holding on with James and Bilan scoring after offensive rebounds, but Igokea took the first quarter 24-21. Arapović tied it with a 3 in the 2nd period, but that was it for Cedevita as Igokea switched to matchup zone and found rhythm on offense to take a 44-37 lead at the halftime. Igokea made 8 of its 15 three-point attempts in the first half. They had a hot hand in Danilo Šibalić, who dropped one under a foul, and made the following free throw for a game-high 12-point lead. However, it was to be followed by an offensive eruption from the team from Zagreb, led by Filip Krušlin, whose three-pointers were the fulcrum of a 27-10 run that gave Cedevita a 4-point lead entering the fourth quarter. Ryan Boatwright woke up in the fourth period as well, just in time for Cedevita to wrap up its 14th win this season. With a 14-6 record, Cedevita has a share of the third place with Buducnost and is only a game behind the second-placed Partizan. With 19 and 16 points respectively, James and Krušlin kept Cedevita from sliding down in the standings. As for Igokea, it can hope to return to the winning ways in the upcoming round with a promising 14 points and 8 assists performance from James Robinson. With the winner leaves the league's basement ante, Zadar met Krka in the most thrilling game of the round. An unbelievable comeback in the fourth quarter gave the visitors from Novo Mesto an 83-77 victory in Zadar's Krešimir Ćosić Hall. Krka's players knew that they had to win this one, and it tied their hands at the very beginning, allowing the home team to go up by 15 after the first 10 minutes. Zadar erupted for 30 points in the first period, shooting close to 70%, 4 for 7 for 3, with 7 team assists and just 1 turnover. On the other end, Bunic was the only one to show signs of life, as he scored 9 points for his team. Zadar couldn't keep the momentum up in the second quarter, and Krka got within 12 by the halftime. Zadar spiraled out of control in the third, as Krka tied the game at 54-54 in the third. But Boris Barac prevented a nosedive, leading the home team on a 7-0 run to finish off the third period. Krka, however, never lost confidence, and the Energizer Bunnies Matic Rebec and Ron Curry led a do-or-die charge by the visiting team. Zadar seemed lost in an explosive rhythm, while Krka started firing on all cylinders. After missing the first 5 shots, Marko Lukovic made 2 3-pointers to tie the game. Rebec would add 2 more well beyond the line, but Zadar's Maj Kovačević fired back with a 3 to tie the game at 76. The visiting team kept its cool in a dramatic finish, and with 4 points in a row from Bunic, completed an amazing comeback. With back-to-back wins against teams from Croatia, Krka reached an all-important margin of 7 wins, thanks to Duško Bunic, who went 10 for 10 from the field on his way to 21 points, and Kari and Rebec, who added 18 points each. On the other end, in Zadar's 5th loss in a row and 14th this season, Marinkovic had another double-double with 20 points and 10 rebounds. After 7 consecutive wins at home, Karpos Sokoli finally managed to win one on the road as well. It was a sweet revenge in Ljubljana for an overtime loss in the previous matchup with Olimpija in Skopje. Karpos even won with a better margin, 97-92. Intro into the best offensive performance for Karpos this season was given by Labovic, who scored 7 points in a row and was responsible for the visiting team's early 20-13 lead. But after a timeout called by coach Kasper Okorn, Olimpija started to resemble the team that recently took down Partizan and Cibona in Zagreb. A buzzer-beating 3 from Bubnic gave the home team a 24-23 lead at the end of the first quarter. First half was marked by excellent shooting percentages on both sides, but 6 3-pointers and only 2 turnovers gave Karpos Sokoli the edge and a 51-42 lead. The threes kept raining in Ljubljana as Karpos raced to a game-high 65-52 lead in the third. But Olimpija had Devin Oliver, a one-man wrecking crew who scored 18 points in this period, almost all of the team's buckets from the field. Thanks to his energy, Olimpija got within 1 with a 10-0 run, but lost focus as Kendrick Perry raced coast-to-coast for a layup and a 74-71 visiting team lead at the end of the third period. It was an even race in the fourth, all the way until the finish line when Oliver gave his team some breathing room at 92-88. Coach Nikolic made the game-winning move, subbing Zekovic for Labovic, who just made 2 free throws. A steal by Zekovic led to a 3-pointer from Trajkovski for the lead, and Zekovic would make another important defensive stop, rejecting a layup from Jefferson. Olimpija's point guard landed awkwardly, and his injury was just a twist of the knife in the team's belly. Another one came when Jankovic missed both free throws. Zekovic would come up big once again, with an important defensive and an offensive rebound to set the final score. Despite almost missing this game because of health issues, Zekovic missed only once on his way to 13 points and 7 rebounds, and played a key role in a very important 8th win for Karpos this season. Vrkic was the top scorer with 15 points and 7 rebounds in the historic first road win in ABA League. Despite 30 points from Devin Oliver, who made 5 of his 9 three-pointers, his 8 rebounds and 5 assists, Olympia couldn't avoid its 11th defeat this season. FNP won 4 out of 5 games in January thanks to an amazing performance by the team's captain Filip Čović. He was once again unstoppable, leading his team to victory over Cibona. The veteran spent 34 minutes on the court, scored 30 points, dashed out 7 assists, and grabbed 4 rebounds for an index value rating of 34. Devin Oliver had a rating of 35, but his Olympia suffered a defeat at the hands of Karpos. And for the second time this season, Filip Čović grabbed the MVP of the round honors, previously being named the most valuable player of the 17th round. We start off our top 5 review in Podgorica with a bang, an alley-oop from Marcus Williams to Oven Klesen. Zoran Vrkic from Karpos holds the 4th spot with a powerful slam dunk in Ljubljana. MZT's Flying Dutchman Shalom Kloff is at number 3. Nothing seems impossible for Krka's Matic Rebec, who takes the 2nd spot on our list with this amazing shot from way downtown. Shalom Kloff again, rising to the top of our list with this incredible dunk. No one could top that. That will be all for this edition of ABBA Magazine. We will be back next week with the highlights from the 21st round, so stay tuned.